So I walked off this morning without my camera, so we're going to try this the Mike Mitchell way and use my phone. As you can hear by the noise, loading up the sprayer. I'm getting some Roundup loaded. Got to get 39 gallon at 12. I'll explain all this when I'm in the sprayer, you can actually hear me. And then also, stone smoke, water conditioner. I'll explain that in the sprayer too. But anyway, gotta get 39 gallon of Roundup in an 800 gallon tank. Okay, so what I was trying to say is we're spraying alfalfa for pigweeds and grass. It takes about 39 gallon of Roundup in an 800 gallon tank and a gallon and a half of that gun smoke. It's not really a chemical, like I said, it was, well shit, now I'm drawing a blank. Essentially all it does is keep the water from any deposits in the water from binding up the Roundup and, water conditioner, there we go. That, and it helps the plants uptake everything. So it just takes a gallon and a half of that in an 800 gallon tank, so not much at all. Now the fun part, we're headed to town. It won't let me turn. Okay, I guess I won't turn the screen around. Either way, heading to town. 800 gallon, I can do about 106 acres, so I should be able to get everything done in here, and then a little bit out here. As you can see, not all the crops are doing so good. We'll go on a quick crop tour later. Things are drastically different than they were the 4th of July when I took you guys on a tour around to look at everything. I'm hoping that's our worst looking feed field. The benefit of coming through on a Sunday is pretty light traffic. It's always nice. Well, we made it. I should clean that windshield one of these days. Either way, so this field right here is an old hay stand. I think you can kind of tell on camera how much space there is between alfalfa plants. It's just getting wore out. And the bottom's been completely taken over by grass, but when you're dealing kind of with this river ground, grass is just one of them things. So, hopefully this will turn the grass back, knock out the pigweeds, so we can get some good quality bales off of this, because this guy likes small bales, so we try to keep it clean for him. Now this field, we got a lot better hay stand. A lot more pigweeds, but a lot better hay stand. This one is only about 6 years old. So it's still got some pretty good life left in it, where that one is, I believe, over 10. So that guy needs tore out. This one, other than a few spots where he's having trouble getting water to, we got a really good stand out here. Alright, keep going back and forth. Got moved about a mile to the east of where I was. Of course, I'd show the worst spot in the field. I was going to say, this is our best field of alfalfa on this farm. And yes, shoes off in the sprayer. It's not our newest hay on this farm. I think that last field I was in is newer than this, but it's really good ground, other than right along the canal it gets pretty seepy. But it's only like 30 feet out, so that it's kind of killed some of that. And then the pipeline leaking, we got like a mile of pipe, because it starts over there at the hydrant, comes all the way through this field, and then goes like another half mile that way. Builds a lot of pressure, so you get a lot of areas like this where water just seeps out of the pipe. Ideally, you'd want like a hydrant to come out of the ground right at the corner of this field, and another one at the next field, but underground pipe's expensive. So, it's one of them projects it's on the to-do list, along with about 40 other things throughout all the farms. Alright, back to the right side of the river at least. According to the gauge, I got 12 gallons left. There will be a little more than that. So I guess I'll go make a half a pass on the next field. It is pretty close, only 3.5 acres, and last half acre it was barely putting out anything. But yeah, there we go, 100 acres down. I've got another 100 acres that I can spray, but it's getting hot. And the problem with spraying when it starts getting hot is you have trouble getting effective kill. So as temperature heats up every day, plants kind of shut down to conserve the moisture inside them. Makes sense. When that happens, then you have trouble getting the chemical to absorb into the plant. And you also have a problem with evaporation. All of a sudden it gets hot, that water and chemical mix sitting there on the leaves, that water starts to evaporate, and it just doesn't do anything. Oh, speaking of fields, look at that cornfield. Isn't that pretty? The insurance is actually already signed off on that one. They totaled it. Just been waiting for it to dry down enough so we can chop. But I'm gonna put this away. We'll do a little bit of a crop tour. Been working on the yard this afternoon. Was getting ready to leave to go do the crop tour, and this guy's been blowing up for the last, I don't know, half hour or so. God, that cloud goes high. But now it is tornado warned, so I'm gonna stay put for a little bit. I'm not liking the coloring in there. Worried about hail. We got our crappy crop this far, let's not lose it now. So yeah, as soon as this makes up its mind what it's gonna do, then we'll go look at stuff. Guess I can show you this field right here by my house. So half the crop tour is gonna be me showing you our pigweed control. So this field was sprayed 3 days ago. As you can see, you got some dead flat on the ground, some that are burnt, and you got some, I mean, look at it, this guy's leaves are still green. It didn't even hurt him. So we're just gonna snap them guys off right here so they don't go to seed. I don't want more Roundup resistant seed. But I'm gonna say, from what I've seen, we've been getting like a 90% kill, which is pretty damn amazing when it comes to pigweed and alfalfa. So, alright, yeah, as soon as this passes, we'll go take a look around. Okay guys, it's the next morning now. Sitting around waiting on that storm to decide what it was going to do. It just got too late to go do much of a crop tour. So I'll take you around today, or later today, and do that. The storm for us turned out to be a bust because it moved northwest, which is really odd around here. Normally all storms move either straight east or northeast, so to have one go northwest is pretty odd. But either way, go figure out what the plan is today, and then yeah, I'll show you guys around the crops later. Alright, two things I want to show you here while I'm out checking on rain. One, these pigweeds, look how tall they are. The chemical's working fairly decent on them. I'm actually impressed. You can see a real big green spot right there. But other than that, they're turning, and that's pretty damn amazing as hard as pigweeds are to kill. Two, sprinkler's still down. This is the one that went down with the barn in the tornado. Last I heard, sounds like maybe November on replacement. So this hay field and that feed field over there are done. Okay, here is the other pivot that is also on the ground. You can see 3 tires that are up in the air. Tower number 4 is twisted, the N4 standing. Well, you can only see 3 because number 4 right here has already been moved over there where they're going to pile everything. This one went down a week before that other one in a different storm. I thought I had talked about it in video, but I hadn't when I got to editing. This guy originally replacement was going to be, I think, end of September, they said. And they're hoping it'll actually be here this week, maybe. So yeah, they're starting to get it out of there. Alright, let's go to work, catch up with you guys here after a while, and we'll go on an actual crop tour, look at some corn and feed and hay. Well, it's next morning again. This just isn't lining up right. to get this all done finally. But I gotta get it done now because I'm getting ready to leave with the fam for a quick little getaway before harvest starts. So talking about crops. So 4th of July was kind of my last big crop update, and everything then was looking really good. The problem is, starting about then through, let's just call it about the 20th of July, so about 2-week stretch, give or take a few days, we got really hot, like 100 degrees. There's a little breeze every day, and it literally just baked the life out of a lot of crops. Now, there around the 20th of July, all of a sudden the monsoon fired up and started dumping large amounts of rain. If you got under one of the storms, you were getting 2 inches, 4 inches of rain, and if you missed the storm, you got maybe the concrete wet. That's the way the monsoon storms are out here, and unfortunately, because of the summer heat, they're quite powerful and contain hail, wind, tornadoes, all the fun stuff. But those rains are crucial. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard the term $1 million rain, but essentially it's an old term for things are getting desperate, crops are getting ready to turn, and all of a sudden you catch a rain, and you catch a good rain, and the crops respond. And in theory, it made the area $1 million. I think you could easily say that this year. This monsoon flow, it just brought so much stuff back to life. Our alfalfa was done. We had a lot of fields we weren't even going to get a second cut off of. Not only now are we getting second, we've got a lot of fields we're going to have a really good third cut. So that is nice. So that's enough rambling though. Let's go see what the corn and the feed and the hay is all looking like. Alright, let's start with corn. So here's one of our better fields. It might actually be the best. As you can tell, it's not super tall, which sucks for silage, but it's putting an ear on. It's consistent all the way through there. That's pretty nice. Let's go look at the opposite end of that spectrum now. And here's by far our worst corn. Not so why not? What's aggravating is we know why. It's because it's this hillside. But in a regular year, this will produce. Hell, just a couple years ago, we took 20 plus ton stuff off of this, so it really produces. Yeah. Awesome. And if I haven't already said it, we even sampled yesterday because insurance has already zeroed this out. It was about 75%, so they cut 2-3 loads. 2 loads, I think it was. We'll try it again in a week, see what it's like then. As far as feed goes, it's kind of a mixed bag. We got some that's looking pretty good, some that's horrible. But we got a lot of this, just kind of, it's going to make a good crop. It's not a record by any means, but it's going to make a pretty dang good crop. Especially if you get another let's on it. Maybe a nice little thunderstorm wants to come over here, drop a little rain on it. We'll have quite a bit of feed. But let's go show you what I mean by horrible. This is definitely the worst feed. And you say, why? It looks pretty good. Just wait till you can see past this very edge. The edge is nice, and then it does that. There's not a whole lot out here. As you can see, alfalfa is coming along. This one really perked up after all that rain. It's easily tripled, what I just call yield, since all that rain. All that nice new green growth out there is coming along. You can see a lot of blooms. So, yeah, that rain did wonders for the alfalfa. Alfalfa is one of those crops that is really hard to grow in a drought year, just because it requires so much water. You get, normally around here, you have a really good first cutting, tonnage wise. Second cutting is really good, not as good, but still really good. Third cutting is starting to fall down, but it's a lot higher quality. And then used to be you had a pretty decent fourth cutting. Now we've just been perpetually dry so many years in a row. It's becoming a pattern of sometimes you get a fourth, sometimes you don't. I don't know. So those, it is what it is. This was actually just cut yesterday. So I mean, you can see a windrow out there, which is impressive because a couple weeks ago there was nothing there. So everything is trying to get regrown. We definitely need rain again. I think the last video I made some joke about we were too muddy and needed it to dry out for a little bit so we could get some things done. We've got those things done. Now we need the monsoon to come back in again. Now this weekend, 20 miles west of here, got 3 inches of rain over 2 days. We didn't even get anything measurable. 20 miles! We were that close.